Am I audible? Am I audible? Yeah. Am I audible? Background. Am I audible, ma'am? Am I audible? Am I audible, ma'am? இப்போ audible, ma'am?
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, audible, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma, you are audible.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
you are
sir.
audible.
Thank you.
Linolia, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you are audible.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sheila?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, you are audible. Maria Suganti?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
You
you
are
are
audible, ma'am.
audible. Good afternoon, Shamla ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am.
A warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I hope I'm audible and my
Yeah, you are
video is.
audible, ma'am. You are audible.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Your video is clear.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Okay, ma'am.
much.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Shamla madam.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Very good afternoon.
How are you?
Yeah, ma'am, fine.
Good afternoon to all the participants from various colleges. Welcome, madam. Can we start now?
Ma'am, your voice is not clear.
Yes, ma'am, Vishal.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Can we start now?
Vinolia,
Yes, ma'am.
start, ma'am.
The key to success is to focus on goals, not the obstacles. A warm noon wishes to everyone gathered here for the fourth day of the short-term course, The Art of Professionalism. Every sunrise gives us one more day to hope, so hope for the best. Now I entreat Mrs. L. Maria Suganti, research scholar, to give the welcome address.
Small cheer and great welcome makes a merry feast. A warm afternoon to one and all present here. On behalf of Faculty of Education, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute, it's my privilege to extend a cordial welcome to you all. We would like to welcome Dr. A. Shyamla Devi, Assistant Professor from University of Madras. Hearty welcome to you, ma'am. We express our sincere gratitude to our Honorable President and all the executives for giving this opportunity to organize short-term course. We would like to welcome Dr. K. Geeta, Principal, Faculty of Education, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute. With tremendous pleasure, we welcome all the participants, faculty members, students, and research scholars for this fourth day of short-term course. Once again, a gracious welcome to one and all present here. Thank you.
Thank you for the gracious welcome, ma'am. The key to growth is the introduction of higher dimension of consciousness into our awareness. I now supplicate Dr. A. Thangam, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Education, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute, to introduce our resource person for today's session.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I am immensely pleased to take the opportunity to introduce our resource person of today's session, Dr. A. Shyamla Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, University of Madras, Chepak. Her area of specialization in research methodology, statistics, SPSS, women's education, philosophy. She has completed M.Ed, M.Phil, PhD, and NET. She has nominated as Special Officer for Dr. A.L.M. School, Palavakam, running under Madras University. She is secured as a resource person for many national webinars and international programs. She has organized many events. She has appointed as a question paper setter for various reputed universities. She has nominated as the chairman for the Central Education of B.Ed program at Tamil Nadu Open University. She has served as a convener for Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University Practicals. She has appointed as a member of Inspection Commission and appointed as a convener of Inspection Commission. It is a privilege to have such an eminent speaker of today's session. We wholeheartedly welcome you, ma'am. Now the session is yours. Please.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I now request you to accept the virtual bouquet, ma'am. Ma'am, please take over the podium. The session is yours, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Vinoli. So, a very good afternoon, all. So, I'm Dr. Shyamla Devi from Madras University. I'm very happy to be associated with Dr. MGR University. So, I would like to thank the management as well as the principal, Dr. Geeta ma'am, Senthamil Pave ma'am, each and every one of the faculties and organizers for organizing this webinar. First and foremost, I would like to share one thing which is very personal to me. I'm very happy to see the brochure because as a feminist, I'm very happy to see all the resource person, women faculties. So I'm very happy that all are female because it's very rare to see wherever the seminar or webinar people organize, they used to invite many men resource person. So for this webinar, they invited all the resource person as women faculty. So I'm very happy to see that. So thank you so much for that. And also now, let me start my presentation. I hope my screen is visible, right?
Visible. Visible, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. So I would like to start my topic of today's session is LMS supported blended learning. So I know much of us are very aware of blended learning, but still in deep into the blended learning, how to design a blended learning, that is going to be my focus of discussion of today, and how we can incorporate LMS into this blended learning. So this is how I plan to present my session. So I would like to start with learning. So learning means, we all know learning is a process where the students will acquire some skills. So or we can say learning is nothing but it is modification of human behavior or change in behavior. So how this change occurs? This change occurs due to the experience which the learners possess. So due to the learner's experience, there is a change in behavior. So how these learners possess these kind of experiences? So over a period of time in our classroom learning, the learners, they will build lots and lots of experiences, and these experiences will lead to change in behavior. Okay. Then how this experience built? With the help of the conducive and constructive learning environment which we provide for the students inside the classroom, that helps them to build their experiences, which in turn leads to change in behavior. So the conducive and constructive environment helps the students to build their experiences. Okay. So how we can provide the learning environment conducive and constructive for the students? Usually in a classroom, we used to take class for the students. The teacher will teach the content and the students will listen to the content. So the teacher will be the sender and the students will be the receiver. So this is a normal, usual classroom. Do you think that in the classroom where the teacher sends the content and the students are in a position to receive the content, in this classroom environment, do you think the learners can build lots and lots of experience? Not to the core. To some extent, they can acquire skills, but not to the core. Then how can we make the learning fruitful for the students? How can we make the learning environment constructive for the students? For that, we have so many approaches, but to address with techno-savvy generation, 21st generation learners, we can have this blended learning approach. So it is very suitable for the 21st generation learners because they are all techno savvy. They love to use technology. See, I was recently, I was wanted to see a 1.5-year-old kid who is watching a YouTube video. Immediately he skips the video apps. Even my mom doesn't know how to skip the video apps. She will keep on watching the ads. And then my son, he used to say, Grandma, just skip the video, skip the ads. But a 1.5-year-old kid is skipping the ads and watching the video. So it shows that we are dealing with the 21st generation learners who are very techno-savvy. So for this techno-savvy learners, what kind of learning experience we are providing inside the four walls is just a oral kind of presentation, a lecture method or discussion method, so and so. But these kind of yes, Malarkudi. Someone has raised the hand. I don't know why. Okay. So the kind of experience inside the four walls, as of now, what we are providing is not constructive for the students to build their experiences. So it is the duty of the teacher to make the learning environment conducive and constructive. For that, we need this blended learning. So why this blended learning works? As I told already, we are dealing with techno-savvy learners. We are dealing with 21st century learners. They are very fond of using devices and technological gadgets. So when we incorporate these technological gadgets into our classroom teaching, then it will be very fruitful for the students. So blended learning, it's not about incorporating online. Different modes of modalities of teaching we are going to incorporate in the teaching learning process. So that is how it's going to work. So we are going to blend more modalities of teaching, and we are going to facilitate the learners. So next I'm going to show you one picture which I took yesterday night. So it was a label in that. The objective of showing the picture is why blended learning is needed now, why it is needed. So for that, I have taken this picture. It is the label of Lysol liquid floor cleaning liquid. So in that label, it was written kills COVID-19 virus. Not only in Lysol, in many products nowadays we could able to witness these kind of wordings: COVID protection, kills COVID-19. So many wordings we could see after COVID. Before COVID, no such things we could able to witness, but after COVID, we could able to witness many things like that. And also recently, I went to not recently, even if you go to a hotel, there it was written that all the workers working here are COVID vaccinated. So why they are flashing these kind of wordings? Because they want to satisfy the customer, and they want to give a very good and safe environment for their customers. In order to make the customers happy, they are flashing these kinds of wordings in their products as well as in their workplace. Okay, this is one situation. Now the question is, so the consumable and non-consumable products, they have changed their labeling before to after COVID. Similarly, if you take the workplace environment, they have also changed the work environment, everything after COVID. Now the question is, in teacher education, in our classrooms, do we ready to change, or we change the classrooms before and after COVID? After pandemic, do we incorporate any changes in the classroom? It is a question mark. I don't think we have done much changes. In my son's school, if you take only 2 changes they have incorporated. Before COVID, we used to pay the school fee with the help of challan in bank, but now we are paying through online mode. And then previously, before COVID, the students, they have to write the homework in HW note, but nowadays, every day they are sending the homework through WhatsApp. Only these 2 changes they have incorporated after pandemic, after COVID-19. The rest of the things are same before and after COVID. But still, if the government is going to announce next pandemic in the next coming month, how we are going to deal with that? So it is a matter of question in front of the teachers and in front of the educationalists. So we have not incorporated any changes in order to face another pandemic. So this blended learning will help the educators as well as the teachers to overcome the pandemic learning loss. So what is meant by the pandemic learning loss? See, a recent research, it tells that a class of the 5th grade students do not know to read and write simple English. Even they do not know to compute simple arithmetic like reading and writing. So this shows that is said to be pandemic learning loss, because nearly for 1.5 years to 2 years, they are out of normal schooling. It is a kind of homeschooling, online class, and so and so. Since the students are not used to these kind of learning experiences, there is a pandemic learning loss. Okay, so we don't know how we are going to overcome this kind of pandemic learning loss for current generation learners. But in future, if we come across any pandemic, at that time, how we are going to deal with that? Still, the government schools have not done anything to overcome the next pandemic. If anything comes, means what they're going to do, how they're going to make learning possible even during pandemic. It is a matter of question. So if we incorporate this kind of blended learning in normal classroom, then during the time of pandemic, we can make learning possible. So that is one benefit of having this blended kind of approach in our classroom teaching. And then, recently, during the month of February in my son class, many students have infections like flu, fever, Madras. So we parents felt that at least during this period of communicable diseases, we can have online classes. Yes. So during the time of pandemic, we can have online classes. We can have a blended kind of approach. And also another one important, during natural calamities, like during rainy season and other things, cyclone, flood. So the students will be out of normal classroom teaching during the time of natural calamities. At that time also, we can make use of this blended learning approach, and we can make learning possible even during natural calamities. And next important benefit is to address the school classroom diversity. That is, in our classroom, we have diverse learners. So what is mean by diverse learners? We have students of different types. We have, they may be diverse in terms of intelligence, low learners, average learners, high achievers, underachievers, talented children. So many types of learners. We have learning disabled children, as well as we have the physically challenged children. So diversity is there in our classroom, in all the classroom. But are we addressing the diversity of our classroom as teachers? No. We are teaching only, we are handling the students through one particular method and hoping that that particular method will suit all the children in the classroom. No, not at all. So the traditional method of teaching is not going to adhere the needs and requirements of the diverse learners in our classroom. So this kind of blended approach definitely will help the to address the diversity in our classroom. So there are many benefits of blended classroom, but I want to highlight only these two things. During pandemic, we can have this blended kind of approach. It will be very suitable. And also, in order to address the diversity of the learners, we can make, they make use of this blended kind of approach. So next, I'm moving to what blended learning is. So now it's a kind of motivation why blended learning is needed, why we have to incorporate in our classroom teaching. So next I'm moving to what is meant by blended learning. From the name itself, we can easily capture the meaning that blended learning is nothing but we are going to blend the traditional method of teaching and online teaching together. So on one hand, we have the classroom learning, face-to-face traditional method of teaching. On the other hand, we have online learning where the students will be learning in a virtual mode. Okay, the teaching learning process will be happening in a virtual mode. So these two extreme ends, when we blend these two method of two learning experience together, so that is said to be blended learning. So in blended learning, we are going to blend the traditional method of teaching as well as the online learning together. So blended learning is nothing but it is a teaching practice that combines or blends classroom learning and online learning. So we can say classroom learning, we can also say in-class learning, and it is also known as offline learning. So all are same only. So it is a practice which combines both offline and online class together. And the instruction of a lesson occurs with both teacher interaction and computing devices. So here we will be having the interaction. We can have doesn't mean that in blended learning we can have only the learning takes place in the absence of teacher. No, it is not like that. We can have interaction, face-to-face interaction with the teacher, and also we can have a virtual kind of learning in a virtual environment with the help of computing devices. So the instruction of lesson occurs with both teacher interaction and computing devices. So this blended learning is also known as hybrid learning, technology mediated instruction, web-based instruction, or mixed modes of instruction. So these are the different names of blended learning. And then, okay, traditional versus a blended classroom. That is, what is the role of teacher in a traditional classroom in compared to the blended classroom? So in a traditional classroom, the role of a teacher is to provide knowledge to the students. The teacher will be giving knowledge or content or information to the students, and the students will be receiving the content. But in a blended approach, the role of a teacher is no more a knowledge provider, but a facilitator. Facilitator in the sense the teacher is to set the stage for the students, set the learning environment for the students, and the students, they have to play their role in the respective places. So that is said to be facilitating. So facilitating, or we can say monitoring and supporting the students. So no more teaching. Here the teacher is supposed to facilitate, mentor and support the students in the blended learning environment. And then uniform instruction. Of course, traditional method of teaching, we are going to have a uniform kind of instruction for all the students. We will be teaching a uniform kind of strategy for all the students in the class. But in blended approach, that is not the case. The teacher is supposed to prepare individualized instruction for the students. So individualized learning material according to the difficulty of the students, according to their intelligence, and also when they face any difficulties in learning a particular content, at that time the teacher will design individualized learning material for the students, not only in a printed form. The teacher can also prepare some videos, audios, and also games, assessment tools. So many things can customize for in order to cater to the needs of the learners. And in a traditional classroom, we have more and more face-to-face interaction with a large group. So in a class of 50 students, we can have a face-to-face interaction, but the group will be very large, so that individual attention cannot be given by the teacher. But in a blended mode, we are going to segregate the students into groups. One group will be having a online class, and one group will be having lab work, and the other group will be having face-to-face interaction. So we are going to segregate, we are going to divide the students into groups. So the students who are going to attend the one-to-one face-to-face interaction will be less in numbers, so that the teacher can concentrate more on the small group of students. So individual attention can be given. So the number of interactions may be less in blended learning approach, but that will be very effective. That will be very helpful for the teacher to address the individual needs of the learners. And then if you go to traditional method, it is teacher directed, that is teacher centric method, and top down model. Here the teacher will teach the entire content, so from whole to the bits and pieces. So that is said to be top down model, and one size fits all. Of course, we are going to teach one strategy, and we predict that will fit to all kinds of learner in the classroom. But in blended model approach, it is student centric, bottom up model, which means from smaller modules, the students will integrate the all the smaller modules together, and they will get a clear picture of the whole thing. So that is said to be bottom up model, and customize. Of course, here according to the individual needs and requirements, the teacher is going to customize the learning materials as well as the learning experiences for the students. So this is the difference between a traditional and a blended classroom, or the role of teacher in both the approaches. And next I'm moving to the components of blended learning. So in micro teaching, we have so many skills. For each and every skill, we have certain components. Just like that, in blended learning also, we have three major components. One is face-to-face learning facilitated by the educator or teacher. So one more component is, in one group, we will be having a face-to-face interaction with the teacher. So most probably in a blended approach, we can have 3 groups or more than 3 groups. There is no thumb rule. It is the teacher can tailor her approaches according to her convenience. So there is no such group, only 5 groups or 3 groups, but minimum we have to have 2 to 3 groups in a blended approach. So initially the students, not initially, first the students will have a face-to-face learning with the teacher, and the second component is digital learning, so technology supported learning. So often bite-sized chunks of information. Here digital learning, in the sense the teacher can prepare video content for the students. The video content which we are going to prepare for the students should not exceed 6 to 7 minutes. Not exceeding 6 to 7 minutes, we have to prepare a video. Even in MOOC and all, things and all, now they are rejecting many projects because they want the video content, the timings should be very less, not exceeding 10 minutes or 7 minutes. They are expecting, if you're going to prepare a video for half an hour, they definitely will reject the video. So why? Because it is very difficult to grasp the span of attention of the learners if it goes beyond 10 minutes. So we are going to provide chunks of information. Chunks of information means the digital learning content which we are going to prepare for the students should be less than 5 to 6 minutes, not more than that. Then only the student can understand the content, they can process the content. And then structured independent study material, of course. So apart from offline learning and online learning, the teacher is supposed to prepare a study material. Of course, we will be having a textbook. Apart from the textbook, the teacher is supposed to prepare an independent study material for the students. So these three are the major components of blended learning. So if a teacher is going to plan, for a blended learning approach, then she has to plan for a face-to-face interaction with the students, and then she has to prepare digital learning. The digital learning can be in the form of video, it can be in the form of video, it can be in the form of audio, or we can also incorporate many learning apps are there. We can make use of the learning apps. We can, through games, we can make the students to learn the content, and also the link can be shared. We can ask the students to go through a website. The website link can be shared to the students. So they will go through the website, and then most importantly, checkpoints. We have to have checkpoints at each and every level, and we have to track the movement of the learners, whether they are able to move from one level to the next level. Based on the difficulty level, we have to provide the chunks of information from simple to complex. At each level, the teacher should have a checkpoint whether the learner has acquired that particular skill or not. With the help of assessment tool, we have to check that, and then the learner will be moving to the next level. So this is how the teacher is supposed to prepare the digital learning, and then structure the study material. So based on the difficulty of the learners, we have to prepare the individualized study material. So these are the essential three components of blended learning. So next one is types of blended learning. There are so many types of blended learning, and here I'm going to discuss some 7 to 8 types. The first one is station rotation blended learning. So station rotation blended learning, in the sense, as I told, we can have 3 stations or we can have 4 stations. Okay, so first we have to divide the students into 3. Suppose if we have a students of 60 students, means we can have 20 or 30 2 groups or 3 groups or 4 groups. So it is highly depend upon the teacher and her convenience. So we are going to segregate the students into groups. So each station will be given a name. So first station is called teacher station, and second station is called collaboration station, and third station is called technology station. So what actually here happening is, the students will be going to their respective stations. There they will receiving their content and learning experience. They will be getting their learning experience in their particular station. In every 20 minutes, the station will get rotated. So the students who are in station 1 will move to the station 2, and station 2 students will move on to the station 3, and station 3 students will move on to station 1. So this is how the students will keep on rotating the stations in a fixed interval of time. Maybe in a time at every 20 minutes, they are supposed to 20 minutes or 50 minutes, it will be decided by the teacher. So at a particular time interval, the students will be rotating from one station to another station. So this is said to be station rotated blended model. And next one is lab rotation blended model. So in lab rotation blended model, we will be having 2 groups. So one group of students will be attending the class in online mode, in offline mode, and the other group of students will be attending the class in online mode, or they will be doing the lab work. So we will be having 2 labs, a class as well as a lab work, and these 2 labs of students will get rotated. So if the rotation is between 2 stations, that is said to be lab rotation. Even we can take the students to science lab, physics lab or science lab. We can take the students to the laboratory, and we can have a physical kind of experience. We can provide physical kind of experience to the students, and the other group of students will be having their experience in online mode. We can ask them to watch videos which was available in YouTube, or the teacher can prepare her own video. So this is how this two station will get rotated. This is said to be lab rotation blended learning. And next one is individual rotation blended learning. Now a question may arise. If suppose if a particular group of students, they need to spend more time in a particular station than other two groups, what they can do. So this is called individual rotation blended model. Suppose if the teacher felt that the students in one particular station need to spend more time there, there is no fixed time interval. That one particular group, they can spend half an hour in that particular station, whereas the other group of students, they will get rotated in 20 minutes. So for one particular group, I will be giving more time so that the learning experience will be fruitful for a particular group of students. So this is said to be individual rotation blended model. It is same as such station rotation, where in station rotation, the students will be rotated in a fixed interval of time. But in individual rotation blended model, it is not fixed. Based on the convenience of the learner, they can stay in one particular station for a long period of time until they acquire the necessary skills, and then they can move on to the next station. So this is said to be individual rotation blended learning. And the next one is flex and a la carte blended learning. So here, this kind of blended learning is very suitable for higher education learners. In college and university level, we can make use of this kind of blended learning. Here, what is actually happening in the sense, apart from our coursework, the students, we will ask the students to do one online course. Suppose I'm handling quantitative research for M.Ed students. So apart from the quantitative research paper, the students are supposed to do one online course in Swayam or MOOC in the name of Introduction to Research Methodology or Research Methodology. So the similar kind of paper they are supposed to do in online mode. Okay, in some other portal. So that is said to be a CARTI blended model. So it is very useful. Suppose if I am engaged in some other work, if suppose for 1 month I have to attend an orientation program, a refresher course, and having some project work, I'm not able to handle classes on a daily basis. In that situation, we can ask the students to attend an online course in some other portals. Apart from their coursework, the students were supposed to do an online course. So that is said to be flex and a la carte blended learning approach. So online learning at home, and so here the timings will be flexible because the classes will not be handled in a regular basis because the students are going to attend online classes, right? So flexible timings will be given so that no need that they have to come to class daily. They can stay at home, they can undergo their online classes. So it is very flexible for the learners as well as for the teachers. And next one is enriched virtual blended learning. So here, more number of days the students will be staying at home and receiving their education in online mode. That is, we are giving more weightage to the virtual learning environment. So at home, they can stay and they can receive their online education. Whenever the student felt that they have some difficulties in acquiring certain skills and understanding, they can come to the school, they can have an interaction with the teacher and they can get the necessary knowledge. So this is said to be enriched. So more weightage will be given to virtual blended learning. So they can also have collaboration with the peer group and they can also have tutoring with their teacher, but that will happen once in a while, not on a daily basis. So the students will be attending more classes in offline mode. So giving more importance to virtual learning experience. So that is said to be enriched virtual blended learning. And the next one is inside out, outside in blended learning. So in inside out and outside in blended learning, when initially the class will start in an offline class. So initially the teacher starts her teaching in an offline class and then the class will be end in an online mode. So that is said to be inside out. So we start with the offline mode and we end up with the online mode. So that is said to be inside out blended learning. Suppose if the teacher felt that, okay, there is no need for having a one-to-one face-to-face interaction, even the students can go for self-learning. In that case, the class starts with online learning, supported by computing devices and other things. The teacher or the students will start the class in online mode first and then end up with the offline mode. So here, in offline mode, the teacher will reinforce the students by asking many questions, especially the higher order thinking skills. So this type of learning, for example, for teaching history and social studies, we can give more number of study materials and videos to the students. Thereby, we can make the learners to learn on their own. So once they become well versed on reading the materials, on watching the videos and other things, they will come to offline class, where the teacher will check whether the students have acquired the necessary skills or not. So this is said to be outside in, that is from online to offline, offline to online. So inside out and outside in blended learning. And the last approach is mastery-based blended learning. Suppose if I felt that not all the students in a class have acquired the necessary skills, they have not mastered the particular content. For example, if I'm going to teach trigonometry, it is a new content for the school-going children, and hence not all the children in the class have mastered over the particular content. So what I will do for those students who have not mastered, I have to wait for the students to get mastered that particular content. So for that, I have to help them with supporting materials, and also I can give her even more e-content and other things. I can in this way I can support the learners who have not mastered that particular content. So giving more space for the learners, all type of learners, to get master in the particular skill or a particular content is said to be mastery based blended learning. So these are all some of the approaches of blended learning. With that, I'm moving to the skills are required for a facilitator. As I told already, the teacher is no more a teacher in a blended approach. The teacher is a facilitator. So as a facilitator, what are the essential skills the teacher has to possess? The first one is technical and digital skill. Unless and otherwise the teacher is not good in handling the technological gadgets, the teacher may not be in a position to design this blended kind of learning. So the teacher should possess good technical and digital skills. And the second one is content expertise. Of course, the teacher should possess good content knowledge. So the content knowledge and the technical knowledge should complement each other. Only then a teacher can go for a blended approach. And then the third one is planning and classroom management. So this is very, very important. Just like that, we cannot go for a blended learning. Planning is very, very important in a blended learning approach. So first, the teacher should sit and plan what are the different stations she's going to prepare, she is going to have for the particular content, how many stations, and how she is going to divide the students for each and every stations, and what they are supposed to do. So the students has to be informed in well in advance what they are supposed to do, what the teacher is expecting from them should be informed in prior. So for that, the teacher need to plan well. And classroom management, as I told, we have many stations in the classroom. If we don't have classroom management, this blended approach will become a mess. So in order to avoid chaos in the classroom, the teacher should have a good classroom management. For that, it needs a lot of planning from the side of teacher. And next one is collaboration and risk taking. Yes, of course, it is very difficult for a teacher to plan this kind of blended approach in the initial stage. So the teacher can collaborate with other teachers. Suppose A section and B section teachers, they can collaborate and then work for a blended learning environment. And also risk taking. Risk taking in the sense here, the teacher has to experiment and explore the learning apps. We have many learning apps. Now it is available at free of cost. So the teacher has to make use of the learning apps so that she can make the learning very interesting and fruitful for the students. So these are the prerequisites for facilitators. That is the skill essential for the facilitator to deal with the blended learning approach. And next, I'm moving to how to design a blended learning. So designing a blended learning needs first planning. So first we have to plan the learning objectives and learning outcomes. We know what is learning objectives and outcomes. So at the end of what the teacher expects from the students after completing the particular content. So that is said to be the learning objectives. So at this juncture, I would like to add one more point. While writing the learning objectives during commission, I have seen that most of the B.Ed students, they have written learning objectives only for cognitive domain. They have not written objectives for affective and psychomotor domain. Psychomotor domain, you have to write this for 5 times, you have to learn and write. That is not psychomotor domain. We have to give some activity for the students. Only then it comes under psychomotor domain. So while writing learning objectives, we must make sure that we are giving equal weightage to all learning domains. That is cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain. So giving equal weightage to all domains of learning, we have to write the learning objectives. That is the first step. And also we should write the learning outcomes. So what the teacher is expecting from the students, what are the necessary skills that students should acquire after the content. So these are the learning expectations of the teacher. So we have to frame both the learning objectives and learning outcomes. So after formulating the objectives and outcomes, the next step is the teacher has to develop the digital content and active learning content, reading material, or we can say reading material as well as the digital content. So digital content, as I told already, it can be in the form of audio, video games, and many other things we can incorporate. We can ask them to go through a particular website. Even we can give YouTube video link, a lot of things we can adhere. So the teacher, the most important thing is, just like that, we should not develop the digital content. In pair with the learning objectives, we have to develop the digital contents. For suppose the student should acquire this particular, should acquire knowledge in this aspect. So in order to acquire knowledge in that particular area, we have to design the digital content. Similarly, if we want to make the students to value a particular thing, so that is the affective domain, to make the students to value, to attract the interest of the students. So these comes under affective domain. So for that kind of digital content we have to develop. So in par with the learning objectives, we have to develop the digital content and the reading materials for the students. The reading material, most of the times it won't be same, most of the times it will be same. But in case if we have any slow learners, according to the level of the slow learners, we have to develop the reading material. In addition to the textbook, we have to provide the reading material for the students. The reading material and the digital content should be paired with the learning objectives, what we have formulated. The next one is guiding the learning experience and customized material. So here, after developing the digital content, if the students are going to work in lab or in an online mode, in a virtual mode, there the teacher is supposed to guide the students. It doesn't mean that once I provide the videos and other things, the teacher will be free and move on to the next work. No, it is not like that. When the students are in online mode or in a virtual mode or in a lab work, this teacher has to monitor the students, and whenever needed, the teacher has to guide the students. And still, if the learners come across any difficulties, the teacher has to customize the material. So it is a tailoring kind of work according to the size of the, according to the difficulty level and understanding ability of the students, the teacher has to tailor make the material. So that is customizing the material. And then the last one, very important thing in designing a blended learning, is appropriate assessment tools. Of course, so we have planned, we have prepared, we have executed. The last one is we have to select and fix appropriate assessment tools in order to check whether the learning outcomes are being achieved or not. So we have to frame the questions in pair with the learning outcomes. I told you that while developing the course content, while developing the digital content or the learning content, it should be paired with the learning objectives. Just like that, while doing assessment, the sort of questions which we are going to ask, that should pair with the learning outcomes. We have to check whether they have actually acquired knowledge, understanding, application, whether they were able to value, whether they able to do this activity, all sort of learning outcomes, what I have formulated in advance, I have to check that with the help of the assessment tools which I'm going to implement. So these are the steps involved in designing a blended learning. So just like that, we can't design a blended learning. We have to write objectives, we have to write outcomes based on the objectives, we have to develop the course content, and then after preparing the course content, we have to monitor the students in each and every level, and we have to make checkpoints at each and every level, and we have to, I told, we are supposed to give chunks of information, and at each and every level, a checkpoint will be there. Only if they master that particular level, they will move on to the next level. So a track, we always should keep a track with the students' attainment. And the last one is assessment. As a whole, also, we should use appropriate tools to assess. And this assessment should pair with the learning outcomes, what we have formulated. So this is what the design of blended learning. And the next one is, this is a blended learning class schedule. Suppose in class means it's nothing but offline class. So in a physical environment, we can have face-to-face interaction with the students. So that is in class. And online class means in a virtual mode, the student will be learning. So Monday. So if I have 4 groups, one group will be having their lecture, and the other group will go for discussion. The third group will be doing lab work, and the fourth group will be doing a role play. Of course, it is not possible for the teacher to monitor all the 4 groups, but still we can ask the students, even we can ask the students to monitor each and every stations. Okay, so we can have 4 stations. Similarly, Tuesday, lecture, project, lecture, discussion. See, discussion, it doesn't means lab work means it is not online. Lab work inside the school campus. So it is also in class. So you may have a doubt, lab work means the students will be doing some work in the lab in online mode, then how it comes under in class? Lab work means inside the school campus, the students will be doing some work in the lab. So it comes under offline mode only. Okay, Wednesday, lecture, lab work, project work. Thursday, lecture, lab work, seminar. Friday, lecture, discussion, lab work. So these are all offline class schedule. Similarly, for online class, we can give video content to the students. Okay, one group of students will be watching the video, and then online content will be given, reading materials, digitalized notes will be given. So these are all online content in the sense, if we ask the students to go through the website, so that is said to be a website, blogs, we can ask them to read some blogs. So this is online content. And also we can prepare digital notes, reading material for the students. And then Tuesday, online project, online assessment. So we can make an online assessment also, we can have. And then Wednesday, online teaching, and that second group is supposed to watch 3 videos, and then online assessment. Online assignment, we have online project also we have, and then video, online discussion, online presentation. So the number of groups is highly depend upon the teacher. The teacher is going to divide how many groups she is going to have for the blended approach. It is purely the decision of the teacher. There is no fixed rule for that. So this weekly chart schedule has to be prepared well in advance, and it should be put up in the notice board, and the students should also informed in prior about the class schedule, so that without any mess and chaos, the students will be going for their respective stations, and also they can rotate. If we go for rotation model, station rotation, in a fixed interval of time, the students will be rotating between the stations, among the stations. In case if it is an individual rotation model, then there is no fixed time. They can have more time in one particular station until they get mastery over the content. So this is the blended learning class schedule. So with that, blended learning is over. So far we have discussed how we can plan and execute a blended learning approach in a classroom. And then we are moving into LMS. So LMS is nothing but it is learning management system. That is, a learning management system is a software application for administration, documentation, tracking, reporting, automation, and delivery of educational courses, training programs, materials for learning and development programs. See, LMS means suppose we can develop our own course with the help of learning management system. Okay, so learning management, see, we can give, I already told you, we can give more number of teaching modalities for the students. We can give them ebook, online material, personal learning, parent-child interaction, classroom interaction, post. So all kinds of different modes of modalities will be put together and it will be managed. So that is said to be learning management system. So here the teacher will develop a coursework for her teaching. So that is with the help of learning management system. So we have different types of learning management system. The first one is open source. Open source means it is at free of cost. So that is that that software application will be available for general public. Anyone can access that software application at free of cost, and we can make use of it. So with that, with the help of this kind of open sources, the teacher can plan and design their coursework with the help of open source learning management system. And the next one is customized learning management system. See, the rest of the three, customized, cloud-based, and enterprise, all are paid LMS. We have to pay. Suppose if I want to pay an LMS, because in open source we will be having only limited applications. If you want to go for pro version, then we have to pay for it. So if minimum we have to pay 6,000 to 7,000 for a paid LMS. But in a paid LMS, so many properties and applications will be there, and it will be even more user friendly for the teacher to design and plan the coursework. Okay, so customize means here the teacher can customize her own coursework based on the needs and requirements of the learners. So usually, the coursework will be in MOOC and Moodle. We used to prepare the coursework based on the 4 quadrants. We should have video, reading material, and online discussion forum and assessment. Based on the 4 quadrants, we are supposed to prepare the modules. For a content, if I felt that for this particular content, I have to prepare 5 modules, then 5 modules is enough. For each and every module, I should have this 4 quadrant. That is, it should have a video content, and also it should consist of a reading material, and we should have online discussion forum, and then assessment. So these are the 4 quadrants. Based on that, we will be preparing the coursework, or we can say the modules. So all the 5 modules should have this kind of 4 quadrants. Okay. We can also have less number of modules or more number of modules. In a offline class, we will be preparing the lesson plan. Just like that, if you are going for an online mode, we have to have this kind of module preparation from the part of the teacher to make the learning possible in a virtual mode. So the open source is available at free of cost. The other 3 sources, that is customized, cloud-based, and enterprise, are paid version. In customized, the teacher can customize her own course design. In cloud-based, in cloud-based, it is like it is a portal. We no need to download or install that particular computer application. For example, if I want to make use of Zoom, I have to install the Zoom. Only then I can make use of it. But in a cloud-based LMS, there is no need to install the particular software. We can, without installing, we can have a agreement with the particular software company, and we can have the LMS. So that is said to be cloud-based. No need to install and work. Okay, we can work on our own. And enterprises, in the sense, nowadays many software companies, what actually they are doing, even they are preparing learning materials for schools. It doesn't mean that teachers should sit and prepare the learning material, video, reading material, the content, assessment tools. nothing. They will do everything for us. Only thing we have to hire and we have to pay more for them. So they will be preparing the what else? The materials, and they will organize the learning content, and they will also track the learning of the learners, and they will also oversee whether the certificates are properly distributed to the learners who have achieved or mastered that particular content. So that is enterprises. So open source will be good for the at initial level. We can go for open source LMS, open source learning management system. So we have many open source learning management system. These are all very popular and user friendly open source learning management system. Moodle, Edmeadow, Schoology, Blackboard, Desire to Learn. So these are all some of the applications, computer software, which is available in open source. So we can make use of this LMS, and we can design our course content. So most of the software applications are self-explanatory. Once you sign up into it, it will be easy for you to how to proceed and how to plan and design your course content. It is not very hard to proceed with. It is very easy. To be very frank, I would like to share my experience during pandemic. At that time, I'm not aware of these kind of open source and LMS and other things. So at that time, most of the teachers, we make use of Google Classroom, but Google Classroom is not a proper LMS. It is not an LMS, but still to some extent, we can have the class in a virtual mode with the help of Google Classroom. That is also an open source. We can manage the classroom in our absence also. Suppose I can go somewhere and I can go on duty some other work, and I can simultaneously I can have the class in asynchronous mode. So that is with the help of Google Classroom, we can manage the class to some extent. So during the time of pandemic, what happened? Many professors of higher education I'm talking about, they failed to handle online classes because they are not used to technological kind of thing, technological gadgets. So simply what they did is they just shared the learning content, the materials through WhatsApp, and asked the students to learn on their own. And most of the times they have written open book examination also. So it doesn't make any difference in their learning. But still, as teachers, we should make use of this learning sources. At least we should explore the learning sources. We have learning apps, learning applications. We have Socrative. With the help of Socrative, I have assessed the students in online mode. In Socrative, it can be both teacher-based assessment and student-based. Even at online mode, I can see whether the student have gone through the particular question or not. So if the student has not passed through the question, then I will call by name. Why still you are standing in that question? Move on to the next one. Your time is over. Or so teacher-based and the student-based. So many learning apps are there. That link can be given in this learning management system, and we can make use of the many learning games are also there. That can also be incorporated into that learning management system. So I shared my experience in Google Classroom. In Google Classroom during the time of pandemic, the problems which I encounter is it is very difficult for the students to download the material from Google Classroom. At one point of time, I also fed up, and then I started sharing the material in WhatsApp. But in Google Classroom, we can share the learning materials, we can share the PowerPoints, we can share YouTube links and other things, and the student can easily access the content what we are providing. And after COVID, we switch on to normal classroom, right? At that time, many students said that, ma'am, even online class is more effective, because in offline mode only we are getting oral instruction, oral kind of presentation, but in online mode you have given many content for us to go through. But in offline mode, I used to give the materials, but not much. But during online, we used to share many materials. So in Google Classroom at that time, it's very helpful for most of the educators and school teachers to manage the classroom, the assignments, to handle, to assess the students, to share the materials and a lot of things. So with that, I would like to, we are coming to the end of the session. So far, I have given an overall view of what blended learning is, how to design the blended learning, and how to make the learning experience fruitful for the students. And in blended learning, we can also design our coursework with the help of learning management system. So I have not went deep into the learning management system because thinking about the target group, the student teachers, I don't want to put much. I don't want to overload them with too many content. So learning management system, most of the things are self-explanatory and you can explore on your own and you can incorporate that in your classroom. So I would like to conclude my presentation with the quotes of George Coase, that is, technology will never replace great teachers, but in the hands of great teachers, technology can be transformational. So I highly believe that no technology can replace a teacher. The teacher plays a vital role and crucial role in the teaching learning process, but the teacher can make use of the technology in our classroom and we can make learning experience even more constructive and fruitful for the students. With that, I wind up the session. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for the elaborate and crystalline presentation. Audience, it's time for question and answer. Please type your queries in the chat box. Audience, if you have any queries, please type it in the chat box.
Thanks a lot, Madam Shamla, Madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me.
Thanks a lot. Very good presentation, madam.
Explanation.
Thank you very much to all the participants, those who have participated from various colleges. Thanks a lot. Again, the last day program will be on coming Monday. Thank you very much for everybody's cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Joy is the simplest form of gratitude. Now I ask Mrs. Sheila to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, one and all. It's a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks. We would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our resource person, Dr. A. Shamla Devi, Assistant Professor, University of Madras. Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable thoughts. We extend our heartfelt thanks to our Honorable President, sir, and our executives for granting us permission. Our heartfelt thanks to Dr. K. Geeta, Principal, Faculty of Education, Dr. MGR, Educational and Research Institute, for our guide and support. Our vote of gratitude to its principals, professors, research scholars, students, and other participants from various colleges. I thank once again for joining us today through this virtual portal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sheila. Dear participants, the feedback link is posted in the chat box. Please fill it up. Thank you, everyone. Tomorrow, 14th April, Tamil New Year. So advanced Tamil New Year wishes on behalf of the organizers. The Day 5 session will be on Monday at 2 p.m. That is 17th April 2023 at 2 p.m. Please join us without fail. Thank you, everyone.
Excuse me, someone has asked a question in the chat box. Shall I answer the question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Yes. So Prashant Kumar, he raised a question that blended learning is suitable for slow learners. Yes, of course, I told no, because we have different types of learners in the classroom. Some are visual type of learners, we have auditory type of learners, we have kinesthetic type of learners. But the kind of approach we are having in a traditional classroom will not adhere to all types of learners in the classroom. But here we are stimulating different modes. We are giving some video content for visual type of learners. We are giving audio content for audio kind of learners, and also we are giving some activities. So we are stimulating as many acts of senses. So when you start stimulating the senses, it will definitely benefit the slow learners. As well as I told you here, we are not relying only on the textbook. Yes, so we are customize. The teacher is going to customize the reading material to cater to the needs of the slow learners. So the slow learners will be getting different modes of instruction and also will be getting a simplified reading material to go through. So definitely the slow learners will be benefit out of this, but the teacher can also focus on individual difference in blended learning approach. So definitely it is suitable for all types of learners inside the classroom. And one more thing I want to add, that in a normal classroom, many times the teacher fails to check the higher order thinking skill of the students. Mostly we will be concentrating only on the lower order thinking skill. So in blended approach, once the students have passed one particular level, the difficulty level will be increased, so that we can go for checking the higher order thinking skill of the students. So it is going to benefit all kinds of learners, from slow learners to gifted learners. I hope I answered your question.
Ma'am, there is one more question in the chat box. Is it necessary to follow blended learning for the English students?
It is not particularly for one particular subject. We can follow for all subjects. For English, we can, in order to check the pronunciation, in order to correct the pronunciation of the students, we can send audio, recorded audio or something like that. And also a software is available. Sorry, I forgot it. With that software, even the students can record their pronunciation and it can be sent to the teacher. The teacher will check the pronunciation and the teacher will send it back to the student. So in this way, we can check the pronunciation of the students, and we are having so many assessment tools through which we can check the grammatical, we can correct the grammatical mistakes of the students. So even it is suitable for all subjects. So it is universal. It is not for one particular subject or one type of learner. It is not like that. We can incorporate for all the subject and for our entire class. Any questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for patiently answering all the questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dear participants, the day 5 session will be on Monday, that is 17th April 2023 at 2 p.m. Please join us without fail. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Shamla ma'am. It was a wonderful session, actually.
Thank you, ma'am.
Without any interruption, it was nicely went on well, ma'am. Nice one,
seriously, I was very much worried because I went through the last day session. I was very much worried whether my internet connectivity will be good or not. So I think
by God grace, it went on well, ma'am, and it was a good, very good explanation and crystal clear presentation, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for your compliment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear participants, kindly fill the feedback form which is shared in the chat box, and the feedback form shared in the YouTube link also. Thank you. Yes, those who have filled the feedback form, you can leave the session. Thank you, participants. The YouTube link will be shared in the WhatsApp group for the day 1, day 2, and day 3, and today's session also. Yes, ma'am. The next session is will be on Monday, same timing, 2 o'clock.